Oh my what, it's an episode on the PlayStation 5 reveal event. I'm here again with my co-host Jason Patrick. What's up, Jason? What's up, everybody?
Hey, bud.
Live
How's
too.
it going?
We're live. I'm good. And we're live.
Yeah, we're
Doing
live.
another
We're,
live stream.
we're excited. I mean, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
I always get pumped for these things, so we decided to do, an impromptu podcast tonight. So, yeah. I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm really hot. It's hot in LA.
How was Congo?
Congo was good. I was watching Congo. I always love that movie. Can you believe it? It's got like 13% or 20% Rotten Tomatoes. I think that movie's good.
I need
I
to
don't understand
revisit
why
it.
people hate that movie. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Congo. We're here to talk about PS5. As always, you can catch us on, if you're here watching us on the live stream, but if you're watching us here on YouTube, we're also on Oh My WAWD at Instagram. He's Boy Decide. I'm Avedon_arcade. We're also on iTunes and Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever else you guys want to hear. I think even directly you can listen on archive.org. That's where we're all housed at. But yeah, PlayStation 5, I think. When was the last time we heard about the PlayStation 5? Was it last E3? Did they kind of just say, get ready because we're going to talk about the next, or was it earlier this year? I can't remember.
I can't really remember either. I guess we're not in tune with the industry as much as we used to be, right? And I just, I still listen to podcasts and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, not much was said. They just kind of like ho-humly said, hey, it's coming eventually. Of course, everybody knows a next generation of consoles is coming. But outside of the controller that they revealed about a month or so ago, there wasn't much else. They've been talking about their whole backwards compatibility stuff. Kinda. It's not on the same level as what like the Xbox Series X is doing, because they're going all out with that. They're guaranteeing that like if you buy a new Xbox, you're going to be able to play the games from the Xbox One on there. They're also doing these things where like if you purchase the game on Xbox One, you're going to have it on Series X as well. So
that's awesome.
Like they're really going all out. PlayStation, they seem to be like holding back on that, but that's really all that was known up until today.
I think it's always been kind of like the thing where you just know these systems take for years to develop. So even if they didn't announce it last year or anything like that, it's probably been in development for like the past 5 years or something like that. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
But we didn't know anything about it other than eventually it's going to be called PlayStation 5, PS5, right? I mean that's kind of
and we knew it was coming out. We knew it was coming out this fall or holiday season, right? It's coming out in November. Obviously, that was kind of up in the air because of the whole quarantine thing.
Right.
But I mean, they're still adamant on a launch this holiday season. So is Xbox, but obviously, supply's probably going to be short.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, they did have a logo reveal a few months ago.
There was a logo for the.
There was a fucking logo.
I can't even remember what the PS5 thing looks like right now.
It's just their normal lettering that they typically use. It just said PS5. So it's like
that's what I figured from what I saw.
They like announced that like the day before. It's like, do you really need to make an announcement for your logo reveal? But yeah.
Right. I was gonna say we're gonna just jump right to it. You guys probably already seen what the PlayStation 5 looks like. When the controller got shown, that looked pretty awesome. It was really slick looking. I don't know. To me, I think I mentioned it to you. It reminded me of, or if I didn't mention it to you, I think I mentioned it to Jessica Chobot, that it reminded me of Mass Effect, like just the way the armor is and stuff like that. It just kind of looked like a cool Mass Effect looking controller, and obviously it looked probably. I mean, I'm assuming it was going to be, comfortable, right? Because I mean, the DualShock controllers has always been pretty comfortable. I think they're one of the best system controllers out there. But it does look different than this. It doesn't look anything like this for the most part.
It looks like it has a little bit more girth to it for sure.
Yeah.
And I like that. I don't really play Xbox too much, but I do think they have a better controller. So it seems like
Xbox has a better controller. Sorry guys, I'm just looking.
Yeah, I think it feels better in hand. I just because it feels more substantial. But then again, that's coming from someone who like didn't own an Xbox One.
Right, same here. I always thought they had massive controllers. But I will say that it did remind me a lot of the Nintendo Pro controllers.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of has like the same girth a little bit. I think they're a little bit more wider down here.
Yeah.
Obviously, it has all this stuff, but I mean, in terms of shape, it looks very
For
similar
sure.
to this versus the old school DualShock controllers. So that was awesome when we saw it. But then you saw the system at the end of the event. We're going to go through all the games and everything like that too. But obviously the system. You've posted about it. We've already been posting memes on the blog, or not the blog, the Instagram account.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? I mean, just tell me what you think.
I mean, when I initially saw it, I thought it looked really dumb. Mainly the top of it, because like the top of it flares out. I was kind of telling, I was watching it with my roommates today. Kind of reminded me of bell bottoms, like it flared out. And it's like they're showing it standing. It's like I don't want to see it standing. I want to see it how it looks horizontally, and they never showed us that.
Mm-hmm.
So like there was images after the fact that had it in that orientation.
Yeah.
I thought it looked much better there because it looks much more symmetrical. When it's standing up like that, it kind of flares out towards the top. But when you're sitting it on its side, it does flare, but it flares on both ends. So
to me, I feel like they went with the route of saying like, this is going to be such a beautiful piece. We want it to be a talking piece on your mantle. It's like this beautiful piece of design standing there, and people are going to ask, what is this thing? Is it a vase? Is it it's like a high-tech router. I think that's what somebody did. There was a meme where somebody put 2 pieces of paper on the side of their router. I just think it's a little too much. It'd be nice. I'm more of a minimalist, and this does look minimal. A lot of their stuff has minimal. But I feel like that flare up plastic stuff, if it's not necessary, like to cool it down or anything like that, it just seems kind of too much. Even on
it's like sandwich. It's like sandwich, and it's a middle. The middle is all black, and then it's sandwiched between these two, white pieces, and those kind of turn and they turn in both ways. It's like opposite of each other, but it doesn't look great. But I think horizontally it's fine.
I think like somebody had posted it. It looks like a building that they designed for like a performing arts center, which it totally does. It does look like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the other thing too is like I feel like they might have originally designed it for like a digital only first, and then they slapped on the DVD player because the way it just kind of kills the shape of it. Like the way it's moving, and then it just kind of for the DVD player part. You know what I mean? It just looks weird. Like it's not part of it. It's like they slapped it on and they just kind of smoothed it in. Versus the other one, I think the digital one, which if I'm going to get one of these eventually, I'm probably going to go digital. I don't know.
No
I want some, but once in a while I buy discs still. So, but I think the digital one looks better than the other one. I mean, it could have. I mean, I'm not saying that because it has no discs. It could still have a disc, but it just looks better. It looks sleeker, whatever. I don't know what I want to say. Yeah. Here's my other thing too with this. Why is it white? I was kind of
fine with that. I have a white PlayStation. I'm happy about that.
I know you guys saw that I have the gray. I still have the 20th anniversary PlayStation.
Lucky you. Good for you.
One of those. Yep, one of those. Never upgraded to a Pro because I never wanted to put this thing away. Still have the the 20th anniversary theme on the system, but I don't like it. I just think it's kind of weird with the contrast of the white with just black. I don't know. I just feel like white fades, white we know how white plastic gets. I mean, you said you have a white PlayStation.
Oh no, I did. Never mind, I did.
Right. I just don't like those type of systems, as we know, like from recent years or whatever. It just doesn't age well. It would have been nice if it was like maybe like a dark blue or like a slate color. And of course, I mean, 5 years down the line, I'm sure we'll see a bunch of different versions of it. They do that anyway.
Yeah. I don't think they'll do that initially. I mean, like you said, 5 years down the line. I think there was hope out there for a black or a white one. It makes sense as far as like how the controller looked. It matches up with that.
Right, that makes sense, right?
Aesthetically. But I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who want the all black system. And to be honest, if there was one that was all black, I would go for that one. Just because, if it was all white, maybe, I probably would have liked it more, and vice versa. Like, just completely black.
This is why I wish I worked for these companies, because I would love to be the one just be like, here, this is how it would look.
Well, there's so many mock-ups that you see online.
Totally, yeah.
There's a few that look definitely much better.
I will say the rest of the lineup in terms of accessories, the headset looks awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's a really slick design. Obviously, it comes with a charger. No, it doesn't come with it. Obviously, the headset is separate. The charger for both controllers is a separate piece. The camera itself looks pretty cool too.
I need to look it up because I did forget. I did put a few things
smaller versus the one that we have is like a wider one. Yeah, it's like that.
And they showed like the media remote as well, right? Which I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if I'll ever get that thing, but it does.
Never owned a remote for the PlayStation systems at all.
I had a PS2 DVD remote.
Did you? Yeah, I thought about one. I don't even use my system all that much in terms of discs, so that's why I've been talking about like why would I need that? Obviously you still control the system that way.
Mm-hmm.
But you know you still die hard. You buy physical media still. You want the physical discs.
You're asking me? Sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm asking the people who can't answer.
No. The audio missed that first part of the sentence. I mean, no, I'm not like a stickler for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do like having physical media, but then again, like I'm past a point where I even display that stuff now. So yeah, and you know, most of the games I buy are like smaller digital games anyway. So my library for the PS4 was pretty small. I probably had 6 to 8 games at the most in physical form. Sure. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's not a huge deal, but it's like I definitely want to have that option. Yeah. You know, even though you buy a game and you put it in there, you got to install some shit anyway.
Right,
it doesn't really save you that headache, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, the thing is for me is like sometimes there's games that I come across that I'm like I don't know if I actually want to buy this. Obviously, if I'm a digital only person, I can't just test it out. I can't rent it. Although maybe you can, right? I can't remember now, right? There's the PlayStation Now or whatever they have. That never really worked well for me. So I like getting a game off of like Craigslist or OfferUp and be like, you know, somebody didn't like their game and I buy it for $20, put the disc in and pop it out and that's it. But I personally would prefer to just stick with a digital only. And I'm assuming that it's going to have a ton of space because these games are only going to get bigger and bigger, right? In terms of
I guess they missed that. I mean, I'm sure later we're going to get into like stuff that wasn't announced, but yeah, I totally forgot the fact that they didn't even announce how big the hard drive is. Well, they didn't really give any much technical specs, right?
And that's kind of what I want to get into next. Is did you have any kind of what would be the word to say? Like, I guess stuff that you were looking forward to that you were hoping to see in the system. Obviously, we said we haven't seen anything yet in terms of specs, but like when you said like when the next system that comes out, I hope it has this, or I hope it can do this. Did you ever have any feelings like that?
Not really. Like, because I think, you know, and we kind of talked about this earlier. It's like there's not. I mean, video games are video games. I mean, every now and then you're seeing people really do like new and innovative things, but ultimately it's just a better looking game, a system that has better load times, better frame rate. You know,
but that's the
games
thing,
aren't going to change.
Load times always change, right? Load times always changes with the technology. So like, it might be faster for older games, but it's still going to take just as long for whatever new game comes out.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I kind of did forget, you know, going back to what you said, like stuff that they had announced beforehand. They did do a kind of a tech deep dive with Mark Cerny about a month ago, which was very strange. It was like a fake wallpaper crowd and that he was talking to. It was very weird. And I didn't even watch the whole thing, but that was like kind of a deep dive on the tech. But yeah, I mean, what I was hoping for really is a price, obviously. I mean, I kind of know. I'm guessing it's going to be about $500 for maybe the standard edition, which I'm fine. I bought a PS3.
No, I think it's going to be
$600.
I think it's going to be a lot more.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was 600 and then maybe 500 for digital.
$699 starting.
I think that's too high.
I know,
and I think they're playing the waiting game because like Microsoft also hasn't. They're also doing 2 versions, like a higher end edition. But they also didn't announce it. So I think they're just waiting for whoever makes the first move so that they can undercut each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted a price point and I wanted a release, not necessarily a release date, but I think if they announce a specific date, then pre-orders would have came up. And so I know me and my buddy Robert, who I think is watching still, or was watching maybe, we're on Amazon, like we're waiting for the pre-orders to open.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to be short supply. I want to get in there right away, but that didn't happen. So
I would say for me, one thing that I kind of wanted to see them talk about, if anything, was just kind of more into implementation in terms of like how are they looking to expand and kind of develop more of the community within PlayStation, like online. Like I wanted to see if they would do more stuff with parties or like group things. Like certain games already have like this thing where like there's a spectator mode. If you play Street Fighter, you can be in a group or party and hang out and then watch other people fight, and then it's your turn to play. Like I'd like to see that kind of thing open up for like in a larger view. Like say you're like, especially now in quarantine where you can't really hang out with your friends, but it'd be cool like you have a new game and obviously there's share play, but a lot of people can watch you play. And of course you already have like the stream thing that you have there, but there's a lot of stuff that the PS4 has that people just don't know how to use or don't never really use. You know, like if you're streaming it, you're either streaming it to like YouTube or Twitch, which nobody's watching it unless you're actually on the PlayStation and watch it. I don't know. I just wanted to see something more like that. I remember back in the day, Xbox, OG Xbox used to have this mode where you could watch stuff with people like in Netflix, like you'd be in a theater and just watch the same thing. And I know like Netflix was doing something like that again, similarly for a while. I don't know. I just want to see something more that kind of develops in terms of playing with friends. You know, like I think the more we keep moving forward, I think there's a lot of single player stuff, which is great. I always like single player campaigns or whatnot, but I like to see more than just like, oh, it's on the games or the game companies to develop something multiplayer wise, you know, like usually they just say, let them handle it. They have their own servers to do that stuff. I wanted to see what PlayStation and Sony is doing in terms of like making it more cohesive for the community at large. That's all.
I mean, PS4 had a lot of those features, so I'm sure like they'll do a good job with that. And the interface was great too. But you know, I was hoping that we would see some of that. There was a tease.
Yeah, there was something where they were kind of like in the menu. And
there was a tease with when they announced that Astrobot game. I'm like, oh, cool, we're gonna see the interface or just a little snippet of it, and no, it was just kind of that game.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, well, it's a popular series, and they're actually pretty fun. They're not that expensive, I think. I don't know how much you pay for those. They're also really fun when you play it for the PSVR, which is something that is PSVR dead for the future of gaming?
No, I don't think so. I think they'll do a second iteration of it eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I don't think it's dead, but I don't know.
Yeah. No,
I sold mine.
I remember. I mean, you don't have anything right now, but I think I would say like the VR thing was already kind of like low end in terms of quality and resolution. So, right, like it couldn't display like the best graphics that the PlayStation could already do. So at this point, they would have to release a newer version, which just sucks because I never get to use the most out of mine, and I'm eventually going to have to buy the newer one just to get like the best quality one for that. But that depends on the software and the video games, and they showed a bunch of games.
They showed a shit ton of games.
A bunch of games. But I want to preface this by saying, no idea when they're coming out. They don't call them launch titles, right? They're not launch titles.
Well, no, some of them were. A lot of them had. Well, some of them had like years attached to them, but some had months. So like, I didn't.
Not a launch though.
In my notes, I didn't put any dates, but some of them seemed like they were going to be launch titles.
A lot of them
because there were a few Novembers. What was that?
There was some did say the month, November.
Some there was one or two that had November.
I wish I wrote that down too.
Yes, those were launch titles. Yeah.
But I mean, even still, like a lot of that stuff, I still say like it's not. And even if they do, you know, all this every time this happens, shit gets pushed back, no matter what. Like
especially
it never happens
games, for sure.
A lot of the stuff we saw there anyway just looked empty in the games. Like you just like there's not a lot happening. Like the main character looks really detailed and there's some kind of action, but there's nothing else around. You know, I'm assuming there's probably going to be more. Of course, we have months before it actually does come out, but I still think like a lot of those games are going to take a while before they actually come out.
Okay.
Speaking of which, they started off right away with something that I thought it was kind of boring. I wish they ended with it instead.
That was a really bad start. Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 5, again, right?
Like an enhanced edition, I think they called it.
Yeah, which is what it's been on the PS3, it's been on the PS4, and now it's coming back again. I don't know who still wants to play this game. Who still wants to play this? I don't.
Well, I mean, it has a massive online community.
Sure. I mean,
Uh,
yeah, they keep adding a
yeah.
bunch of crazy shit. I guess I don't know. I would say like bring back Red Dead. I'm sure they're gonna bring back Red Dead, right? I mean, Red Dead's one of those games that kind of came out towards the end of the life of
Yeah,
PS5.
I
So.
wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it was weird. I mean, I kind of associate it with, when me and you went to the PlayStation experience. Uh, and it was kind of, well, I mean, it wasn't third party heavy necessarily, but remember,
Mhm.
like, we went there and they had like the big huge banner, and like I believe like 3 of the 4 game were third party games. Like I think they had Street Fighter 5,
Yeah.
Destiny,
Oh,
uh,
right. Destiny was
oh,
big. Yeah.
Destiny, Call of Duty, and then Uncharted. That was the
Mhm.
4th thing. So it
Uncharted.
was like three of the 4 were third party. I'm like, I don't really like
Right.
that 'cause I feel, Sony's always been known for having great first party studios and games.
Hmm.
So it was
Well,
weird. I mean, I understand GTA 5 is a huge game. I didn't care for it, and I never got into the online. But I understand it's a huge cash cow, and like having that like third party kind of like somewhat exclusive studio,
right.
behind you is
Yeah. Yeah.
it's cool. But it was a weird way to
For sure.
start it off for sure.
I know we mentioned that before we get into further. A few games that we didn't see anything about. No
Mhm.
mention of God of War. No mention of
Yeah.
anything new for Uncharted or nothing Uncharted related.
Mhm.
Um, what else? What else is a major system or series that's usually on PlayStation?
Yeah. So I mean, so with Guerrilla Games, I guess they are working on 2 games. So in all likelihood, they are working on a Killzone game. And
Hmm.
Killzone, that usually has launched near like the beginning of a
Hmm.
life cycle of a system. And it ended up ultimately being Horizon Zero Dawn sequel, which is awesome. I know I had never played Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, neither have I. I mean, it looks
I'm
amazing
much more interested in that than like another Killzone game because
for
like
sure.
but yeah, so I guess that's the only thing like omitted, like you said, God of War, uh, and Uncharted. But I'm not surprised if Uncharted, just because Naughty Dogs was
Work.
busy with Last of Us too. But I'm
Right, right,
sure.
right. And
But
and,
no, I
and
mean,
for the most
I
part,
kind of hope they're done with. I want to
they
see
are.
what
They
I
are.
want to see what Naughty Dog has next. The next
Beyond
new
all of
IP.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, they are done with Uncharted. I mean, I think with four was like basically like their Toy Story 4. Like, all right, this is the last one we're doing. Like, this is it. I love the Uncharted series, and it's okay if they're done with it. Yeah, if they brought in other games or other characters from that series to develop it, I think that'd be really awesome too. That's my favorite series from the PlayStation franchises. I know you're a big fan
Yeah.
of Last of Us. I think Last of Us sucks. I wish they never made any more of those games.
You're wrong.
No, I don't care. Who
Uh,
cares?
they're just better
Um,
as a game. They're better. It's definitely a better.
Better than Uncharted?
Yeah, the shooting is garbage in Uncharted. Uh, the
I
platforming's fun. It's fine.
feel. By the
I
way,
mean,
for
I do like
everyone who's watching,
Uncharted. I'm kind of like not a. I'm the. I feel like as much as I love PlayStation because I've kind of always been like a PlayStation fanboy.
uh,
Uh, like a lot of their like big franchises I haven't played like through. Like so, I played the first 2 Uncharted's. I played the first God of War. Haven't touched any of the other ones.
mhm,
So it's like I want to get into that. And same thing of Horizon. Like I never played Horizon too. So
yeah.
yeah.
I think I played it at E3. My sister and I played it. I took her to E3 once, and we played that like a demo of it. I just want to mention live stream, by the way, if you guys want to chime in at all and say anything, if you've seen the live event, what
Yeah.
popped out to you guys, especially now that we're talking about the games, feel free to chime in. We're reading the comments and waving to everybody as well. um, yeah, so okay, we saw that they're
Yeah.
making another Spider-Man game, which is kind of basically going to be the same world that they already built up, right, from the previous Spider-Man game that did really well. Sucker
Mhm.
Punch did that one, I believe, right? Sucker Punch did that Spider-Man game that came out last year. If
I
you
don't
remember,
know.
last year
Did
or two
they?
years ago.
Did
Yeah,
they?
it was Sucker Punch.
What?
That's why it was a big deal because they were the one who made that game. Um, but this
Okay.
time they're making a game based off of Miles Morales. If you guys remember him from Enter the Spider-Verse, or is it Enter the Spider-Verse? Well, one of the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Um,
wish they would have just called that one Into the Spider-Verse, but whatever.
um, but yeah, I mean, obviously he has his special powers in this game, which he has like he can turn invisible. He also has like a shock ability. Obviously, this is all stuff that he's had in in the comics, and obviously he has like the typical Spider-Man stuff. So it'll be fun to be able to play as him. And the title of this game is just straight up Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is it's just pretty cool. I haven't played the other one yet, but I'd like to play that one. I mean, it's very similar to like the Arkham games, the Batman Arkham games, where you kind of dodge and attack all the time. So yeah, I mean, did you ever play the Spider-Man, the other one?
I did it. I was already kind of like checked out with PS4 at that point, but no, it looked awesome. I heard it was really good.
I think one of the games that they started off with, which is they're bringing back again, they did like a remake last couple of years, was Ratchet and Clank. Right, Ratchet and Clank had like a game that came out that was kind of at the same time came out with a movie, an animated film, which I actually never got to see. I wanted to see the movie, but it played like you were playing the movie basically. And now they're doing a new one, which is something Adrift Apart or Rift. I don't know, something.
Rift Apart, yeah.
Apart. And it looks good. It's just I mean, it's a cartoony game, just trying to be more enhanced, I guess. You know what I mean? Like it's
which Nintendo has done a good job making those worlds look.
It looks a lot of fun. Obviously, you get to do all these cool interdimensional jumping around stuff. I feel like a lot of that stuff typically is very lazy. If you saw the video, there's like these yellow things that open up in front, like far away from you, and he pulls at it, and he kind of gets dragged, like he gets dragged into it, right? Like he just, it's almost like a teleportation. Yeah.
Like a portal.
It is a portal, basically. It's a portal. But the thing is which I thought of is like, it'd be cool if it could just show up wherever you want it to be, not just there. Like the game is already setting up where you can teleport to. That's not as fun as being able to do it yourself. Like if you play Dishonored, which we'll actually talk about a little bit later because there's another game similar to that. You have these abilities that kind of let you do whatever. You could just teleport wherever you want, go wherever you want, and it's crazy. This game is still very, it's a regular 3D platformer, right? And it's one of their staples, I guess.
I never played a Ratchet and Clank. It is cool, but I was always a Jack and Daxter, Sly Cooper guy.
Myself. I was wondering that. I'm like, why don't they bring back Jack and Daxter or Sly Cooper? Cool. Sly Cooper's Sucker Punch as well. So I mean, I don't know. Those are the guys we should probably see more of.
Back to Spider-Man, just because I had to fact check you. It's Insomniac Games.
I'm sorry, Insomniac Games. Yeah.
Which it was weird because didn't they have like some sort of partnership with Xbox? Because like Sunset Overdrive, I think was.
I think that's why it was a big deal.
So it was weird for them to have a exclusive game from Insomniac. Yeah, and there was also back to Spider-Man. There was also talk about or I guess I've listened to other podcasts about it, but like whether it's going to be like a true like sequel to a true Spider-Man sequel, because it does seem like it's coming out pretty quickly. Because I believe that's one of the ones that is likely going to be a launch title for the system.
That makes sense, because it's you're building on the same framework that already exists, and in a way it could have just been an add-on to the existing game. You know what I mean?
Or it could be like a Infamous.
It's the same world.
First Light or
exactly. It's
Uncharted Lost Legacy. They did one of those. So yeah.
I don't know. It'll be fun to play. Here's one thing I want to ask.
Yeah.
Who the hell still cares about Gran Turismo?
I never did. I mean, the one I loved was 2, but I've never been a race car fan. But it's like whenever a new PS5,
the most boring racing game series ever made.
It's a simulation. If you want like more arcade games,
$500 video game system to play a simulation racing game. I'm sorry out there if anybody does. I don't get it. It's not fun. I'd rather go.
That's like people who say like, oh, why do you play sports games? Just go outside and play the sport.
That's more fun though. That's still more fun. I'd rather pay $500 to go race one of those cars on a track than actually sit at home and
gearheads out there who love racing games.
That's true. I know.
I'm not one of them. But
there's only one game though. Like, why would you buy a system to just play that one game? That doesn't make sense. Anyway, that's all I'm gonna say about it. I don't really care about it. We can move on.
It looked pretty because that they always have these Gran Turismo games to showcase what the graphics could do. But it's like
right.
Okay, they look like real cars. Let's move on.
I'm gonna jump really quick to another game because we're not really going in any order, but I am trying to keep track of the stuff. One game stood out to me, and I'm really excited for. I don't know if it was like a game that I would want to buy the system for at launch, but Destruction All Stars, which is like the Demolition Derby type game. where it kind of reminds me of what's that game where you're playing with the ball? Wow, we're stuck at video games. You know the one where you're driving and you're hitting the ball? It's like,
Rocket League.
Rocket League, yeah. So I think it's a fun game. I just like the way the characters look. They're really well developed. Part of me wishes it was just the characters, really. I didn't really want anything to do with the racing. But then once I saw that you could run it off, like you don't actually have to be driving the car. You could also be running around in the arena, causing mayhem. I thought that was a lot of fun. That looks like a lot of fun.
I mean, it was cool looking art style, I guess. It was giving me Fortnite vibes. So I'm like, nah.
Oh, I can see that. I can see that, but I don't think it's anything like that. It reminds me a lot of Monday Night Combat, which is a really fun game from it was like an old Xbox 360 game. Mm-hmm. But I like the characters. They look really well animated. I'm hoping the physics of the game, the car destruction, is as good as they showed. Right? There was stuff where they were like, the cars would have like these blades in the middle, and then you could just cut right through in the middle, or slicing from the top or the sides. All this stuff, to me, I like that kind of destruction. I don't like the cookie cutter destruction where like, oh, you just got smashed from the side. It's always the same, like smashing. This like it does damage. I could see that though. Like, they probably are trying to like kind of own in a little bit on the Fortnite people, because obviously the characters look a little bit like they're flossing or dancing, whatever. I don't see it that much. I think the characters actually have enough character of their own to do their own thing. So I'm excited for it. Like I said, it's not a game that I would buy the system for, but it's definitely, if I had the system, I would buy that game, because it looks like a lot of fun, especially multiplayer, and especially when you want stuff to take over or take a break from Overwatch and all this other stuff. That looks like a fun way to just kind of chill and have some fun with some friends.
Yeah. Cool. I actually when it came on, I thought it was gonna be like a roller derby game.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen.
That kind of would have been cool, actually.
And then I was thinking, you've seen Battle Angel Alita, right? The movie. Mm-hmm. I was hoping. I always thought a motorball. I had to look up what it was called, but I thought a motorball game would be pretty fucking cool.
That sounds. Yeah, I like that kind of stuff, like more futuristic style sports games. There was that game Riggs for the PSVR, if you remember that game.
Yeah.
It was very simple though, but it was a lot of fun. I liked playing that game a lot. Another game that came out that I didn't even think they would ever revisit this series. I don't know why. Little Big Planet. It's not Little Big Planet.
Come after Sackboy.
It's Sackboy, Little Big Adventure or Big Adventure. I think it's really the only like kids game besides Ratchet and Clank that they showed off during this whole thing. I mean, there was some other stuff that could be considered.
Yeah, they had some adventure games, for Spirits and stuff. But
but
jump ahead. But yeah,
this I don't know. I feel like we're done with Little Big Planet. It just seemed like a very typical platformer, like the kind of stuff you see all the time. To me, the graphics look like something you get off your iPhone. I didn't seem anything.
Yeah, it didn't look great. Little Big Planet, the platforming I've always thought it was shitty. Mm-hmm. It's just very floaty. Yeah. I when my buddy Chris, who I live with, he's the one who showed me the original Little Big Planet. So it was so cool, like to go online and see the different worlds.
Mm-hmm.
But like the novelty of that wore off pretty quickly.
Right.
So it's like I don't really care for the series. I mean, Sackboy is always going to be cute, but we could leave him back in the PS3 days.
He's a really cool mascot character for the PlayStation. I think is really good for kids who, if you're buying a system for the family, like obviously for the household, those games are always fun. Here's the thing that I'm thinking, which I'm really upset about, is whatever happened to Tearaway. Tearaway was awesome. I love that game. I don't know if you ever played it.
Yeah, there was actually a few games, in this showcase, this reveal event that I thought were Tearaway at times.
Yeah. I love Tearaway.
I love Tearaway too. I didn't beat it, but I definitely owned the Vita and thought it did some really cool things with that hardware. So
yeah, and I know they
such a cool art style.
Yeah, the art style, the paper stuff. I know they ported it to PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4. I can't remember.
Yeah, they did.
Obviously, you had to do different things to do the stuff, but that's a cool series. I think that there's a lot more there that could have been explored. I don't know.
It seems like it's taking out what the fascinating part of what Little Big Planet is. Obviously, creating the worlds. And obviously, that studio. Do you remember the name of that studio?
Media Molecule.
I mean, like they already have Dreams, so like they already have that base covered.
Yeah.
So just like the idea of having. I mean, this is a game for kids ultimately.
For sure.
It It's
But it's true.
basically like
It's
Little
missing
Big
all that
Planet,
stuff.
only the campaign mode, and that was the
Yeah.
least interesting thing about Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You're right. That's a good point because a lot of what made that game fun is playing the other stuff that people were making. Not only their worlds, but like the games, right? Because you can make like little weird games,
Yeah.
or like I remember people were making like survival horror style, Resident Evil style games, and it was
Yeah.
cool. I mean, back in the day, it was fun. It was a lot of fun to play.
Hmm.
You want to pick a game to talk about?
Sure. So, Stray. It's a game you get to play as a stray cat, and I'm very excited about
I don't
that.
know how
As
I
a
feel
cat.
about that. The game looks amazing, but yeah,
Yeah, it was cool. It's it's kind of set up as like this weird futuristic world of robots, and there's just this cat walking around, and he has like this device on his back, and I'm like, I hope I get to play as that cat. And yeah, the name of the game is Stray. Yeah, you get to play as
I
the
still
cat.
don't hope that is it. That's what it is.
Of
That you
course it
play
is.
as
It's
a
called
cat.
Stray.
I mean, it could be
And there's a
someone
cat with
controlling
like
the
a
cat.
fucking like
It could be someone
camera.
controlling the cat.
That would suck. I want to play as a cat.
It'd be cool that it's like you're controlling more than one cat. When I first saw this game, yeah, it's called Stray. I like the art style a lot. It just made me think of like anime. Just like
Mm.
it was just showing these vignettes of these robot people just chilling, talking, eating, or getting haircuts, or getting their head fixed and stuff like that. And it's like I want to know what's happening in that world. So I really hope that this game has a really good story because the world
Yeah.
already sucked me in. Then I don't care if you have to play as a cat. That's cool. I just want to explore that. And cats are really agile, so that means you'll be able to explore a lot of that. I hope. So we'll see. Um, yeah, I am excited for that one as well.
Yeah.
Here's one I'm not excited for. I guess it's a tentative name called Project Athia. Athia. You remember that one?
Yeah. Yeah, look, I mean, it looked really cool, but it was very short.
It's
Why
short.
were you not excited about
I
it?
mean, it just. I'm always into it when there's like a female protagonist. Like finally, like like more female protagonists could be like the heroes.
Yeah.
But it just seemed very bare. Like there wasn't a lot going on. She was doing like some platforming stuff, and then they showed some huge enemies. Like, oh, there's an enemy in the distance. There wasn't any signs of any action or fighting. It just, the world she was in didn't seem alive. It just seemed like you're in this mountainous region or in this forest. It just looked like a setting, like a set. And that's kind of my issue with a lot of games that they were showing on for this showcase. I mean, obviously the graphics look good. I just don't think it's.
Yeah, I just thought it was too. It was a tease. I was like, there was not much shown there for sure. But it caught my eye as far as like visually how it looked. But I don't know what the game is.
Right.
I
Well,
thought
and
maybe what was that game? I don't know. It was like a female protagonist. She like her face was painted. They said it dealt with mental health really well.
Yeah, that's not Hell Knight.
Yeah, Hellblade.
Hellblade, yeah. Yeah, I thought it
That's
might
what
have been
thought
something
it might
similar
be.
to that. But even Hellblade has a little bit more to it than what this is. So far, we'll see. But another game that's very similar to this one was called Returnal. Returnal. It's a very funny
I
name.
thought that's a cool name.
Returnal.
I'm fucking pumped for this. Fucking Housemarque. I love Housemarque.
That's Housemarque's game?
Yeah, so they
Okay,
did
that makes
Resogun and
Yeah.
Alien Nation, Dead Nation.
I could
My favorite game of theirs, Outland. Have you ever played Outland?
I never played Outland. I played all
Outland
the
is
other ones.
amazing. They're never gonna make a sequel.
But that makes sense with the firing and all the bullets were flying and like that looks very cool. But again, still look very bare. Not a lot of stuff. The enemies look really cool. I mean, I'm totally interested in this game. It does look cool, but it just seem very empty. Coming from an indie studio, I could see them just kind of like dipping their toes into something bigger. So
yeah, it seemed like a step up from what they made before, because they always do like arcade shooters or like isometric games like the Alien Nation, Dead Nation games. But and like a few years ago they had came out and said like, oh, we're not interested in making these like games anymore. It's like, why? You guys are so good at it. But it seemed like the evolution of what those games could be.
Well, it's kind of like what happened with
it.
It's kind of like what happened with I don't remember the name of the studio, but the guys who did No Man's Sky. They went from what's that game? Something Joe.
Hello Games. I think that's
it's Hello Games, but they made a game called something Joe. It was like you're like an evil Knievel.
Yeah, Danger Joe.
Danger Joe. I love that game. That game was great.
Game.
And then they went from that. They went from Danger Joe or whatever to No Man's Sky. And No Man's Sky obviously looks great. but there was a lot that they just, I think they bit off more than they could chew. And this is what I
and
feel
they
like
eventually fixed. I heard they eventually fixed that game because they kept working on it. But yeah, I never even played it.
I'm not gonna buy a game that's like constantly being worked on, until I get something good out of it.
Oh, those are games now, constantly evolving.
Yeah, that is kind of cool, but at the same time, not when you buy it and there's like nothing to do in the beginning. One thing
it
that
definitely had like an awful launch, and like everybody knew, like they weren't showing how the game played, and like they knew something was up. Like there's something missing here.
Yeah,
and there was. Yeah.
And that's the thing. What I'm worried about, because we did see a lot of independent studios making games for the PS5. So I hope that's not the case where they're just kind of like, whoa, they had a room and now they have like a stadium to work with.
For sure.
So we'll see. Obviously, there's a lot of time to work on this stuff.
Yeah. So let me see. Let me go next.
Go for it.
Let me see.
There's a lot of stuff.
I guess I'll get into this. The Demon Souls remake. I'm very excited for that. I actually, you ever play any of the Souls games or Bloodborne?
Bloodborne was one of my favorite games of all time.
You beat it?
I got to the end, and I was at the end already, but I didn't do it because I needed to beat one last boss, and my friends had all passed on, so I couldn't, I wanted their help, so I had so like I couldn't. It was like the big electro beast that's like this, and it's just electrocuting. You got to be underneath them, and I couldn't beat him because there was like some hunter guys standing outside, and I couldn't get him. And I should have just beat the game and like said fuck that guy. I'm just gonna beat the game, and I never. But yeah, I pretty much did everything. Like I had everything to get the best ending. But that game's amazing.
Yeah, I've always wanted to like play through. I mean, I played Bloodborne, but I always had that issue where I would spend a few hours with it a night, and I wouldn't make any progress. I'm like, what? Why am I doing this?
That game is probably like the one game that scares the shit out of me. Absolutely. Yeah. No matter what.
Yeah, Demon Souls, like I actually got into it. Wow. What did I come out for? PS3. And I played it, and I was like super into it. But then there was a merchant in the game where that's where I bought my equipment from. That's where I upgraded my stats and shit. And then so I was just like hanging out with him.
What? You're hanging out with him?
And I wasn't hanging out with him. I was by him, and I'm like, I wonder what will happen if I swing my sword at him. And so I like hit him, and so he got hostile and started fighting me, and then I killed him. And then I kept playing the game, and then he was dead. He was just dead in the game, so like you couldn't go to him anymore. I'm like, well, I just kind of screwed myself because I can't upgrade. Wow. I'm sure like eventually you run into a different person who would help you, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad they're remaking the game. Like Shuhei Yoshida, good old Shuhei came out and kind of announced a game that he's happy to be seen. So. Yeah, I'm very excited that they're remaking that for sure.
I've never been good at these games. The slow pace, the slow movement. It's always been a little tough for me. I tried playing Dark Souls 2 or 3 when it was like free to play one of those games, and it just took me forever to play. So I don't think it's going to be a game that I'll ever go back and revisit. It's just not my type of game. They look amazing. The fights look amazing. There's been other games that came out that are very similar to that. Like Neo is a little bit more action oriented. I think Sekiro, right? That's the other Japanese one.
Shadows Die Twice, yeah.
Yeah, that one's very...
I heard that game was awesome.
Yeah, I want to try it, but I know it's going to be really hard. But yeah, I mean, I think Neo would probably be more up my speed. I haven't played any of those games either. There's a lot of games to play. So,
but especially now that that's such a popular style of game now. So
yeah,
a lot of people are making them.
Another Oddworld game.
Yeah, so I never played an Oddworld game. I played like a demo, I think, back in the day, back on the PlayStation 1 days. What's the guy's name? Lorne Laney. I don't know what his name is. I love that guy. He's cool. I've heard him on podcasts. I love him. This game looked fucking cool as hell. Like the art style, I thought was amazing. It kind of reminded me of.
It's been the same art style since forever.
I just thought like there was a lot going on in the world. Like. Like it actually reminded me a bit of Mad Max.
Yeah. No, it's all that's what it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really care about Oddworld, but I was really taken aback by like how good it looked for sure.
It's very like Lemmings-esque, you got to get your people moving out there. You don't really do anything. You can't fight. You can't do anything. I guess that's why I never really liked it. Uh, Also, I always wonder, like, why the fuck does this guy never cut the bands on his mouth, like throughout this
Yeah.
whole series? And then he does it. I mean,
Yeah.
we think he does it because he actually starts doing this, like he's gonna rip it off. So that's exciting. At least he's gonna get that off.
Yeah.
Oh man, um, there's a lot of games here.
Yeah.
They showed off NBA
Well, so
2K.
there
I
was
don't really care about NBA. Sorry, I'm just gonna
yeah.
throw it out there because it's
Yeah,
not.
Zion came out, and it wasn't even really like it wasn't really a gameplay demo or anything. Which
Yeah.
is like those games are gonna play well, they're gonna look good.
hmm
You know what you're getting
Yeah.
with those games. So, there was a game called Goodbye Volcano High, which
Yeah.
is just seemed like a nice small indie game.
Indie game. Yeah.
Obviously, storytelling is going to be at the forefront there. I do like the idea because the sense I got, it's like a end of the school year
hmm
type deal.
hmm
So cool, like a
No, it
video
looks
game
good.
that's
I
like a
like
Days
it.
and Confused or Can't Hardly Wait. I'm
Yeah.
down for that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I really like the art style. Kind of got some
Um,
BoJack vibes, obviously, because they're animals.
it's not very. To me, it's just not a game that I would say like. I'm assuming this game's going to be available on everything. Like I'll probably play it on the Switch more
Yeah.
than anything else. That looks good. So, but it did look interesting.
hmm
Another game that seemed that's from an indie company. I forgot who. The guys who made Hyper Light Drifter.
Yeah. What was
Uh,
that game
they're
called?
making a game called Solar Ash, which the style looks very cool.
Yeah.
Very kind of like it seems like a lot of game companies are doing this now. I'm gonna say a lot, but it's a very popular style now. The minimal, the chroma, cool color effect, like we've seen it in Abzu, Journey. Um, what else? There's been a couple other games that are very similar to that. It looks cool, and I'm down to play it.
Yeah.
I just feel like again, not a game that I would say I'm gonna get it for the PS5 or
I
whatever.
think people are going to be pumped for it just because I know a lot of people love Hyper
Yeah,
Light
yeah.
Drifter.
Even more
I heard
so,
that game was just really fucking hard.
yeah, and even more so if Disaster Piece is also doing the music for it.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if he is. I'm just saying because he did it for Hyper
Oh,
Light
he does.
Drifter.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Um, Another Hitman 3, I
Yeah.
think.
I haven't played them, but obviously I heard, the first one that was episodic. I heard that was pretty awesome, and then part 2 came out where it kind of released it all together.
hmm
But yeah, I heard those games are awesome.
I will say, yeah. I mean, like it's nothing new, but I love Hitman games. They're so much fun. The amount of things and the amount of ways you can kill people. What I'm hoping from this is besides the fact because those games already look good. Like I think
Yeah.
it was free to play on PS4 for a while, the last one, and they already look great. But I just hope that they maybe add a little bit more stuff. Like it's more expansive. Maybe you could do more stuff. Maybe even ride around, drive. Maybe more crowds. There's already parts in the last game where you got to go through crowds and you just got to like kind of get through them and stuff. That's cool
Yeah.
because there's a lot of stuff on screen and the game doesn't chug it all. So that's really cool. But again,
Yeah.
more the same.
I mean, I've watched I follow Giant Bomb, which is a video game site that I really love, and I've watched a lot of theirs like Let's Play videos, and it was a lot of fun. It seems like that's the type of game that I would want to play with a group of friends, and we're kind of passing the controller around.
Yeah.
They do this cool thing where they like pick ideas out of a hat, like, oh, you have to kill this person using this, and like kind of make a game out of it.
Yeah.
Which kind of reminds me of like the Grand Theft Auto days when I was just kind of hanging out with my friends.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's like I don't know if it's a game I would want to play on my own. I would like to play it more in a group setting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just doesn't
It's cool.
happen much nowadays.
Right. There are challenges in the game where it'll say like you have to do it this way or kill the main guy this way and stuff like that. So it's cool because you don't always want to do it, but it's fun and that's a good idea. Like you pass that on to the next one. Like, oh, I already did it. I mean, I didn't do that way, but I don't want to play this. So like passing it on until it gets back to you. That's a cool way to play for sure.
Yeah, I wish they had showed because like what was that? Where were they at? Abu Dhabi? Or where was that?
Oh, I don't know. Dubai?
Dubai.
Mm-hmm. Abu Dhabi.
Hey,
is that real?
It's like hey, this is the Dubai map, and then all they show is like the buildings and like the clouds.
Yeah,
Like skyscrapers peeking out of clouds.
Yeah.
Like you didn't even show it in the fucking map. Like
yeah, that's why I
more.
thought I'm like, are you gonna be able to fly there or what? Like okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it's cool. It's so cool that like I mean that studio they were part of Square, right, for a bit, Square Enix.
Mm-hmm.
And then that just collapse. So like people are like, oh, are we still going to get Hitman games? So I'm glad that they're still able to make them. And you know, they do say when one of the guys who helped create the game, he says like this is like the finale in like our trilogy. So
cool. Yeah.
If I have anything else. There's Bug Snacks, which I thought was very cute.
Fucking weird.
I thought it was really
it
funny.
Freaked me out.
And that's from the makers of Octodad, which I never played, but I heard was pretty
Octodad's great. Yeah, Octodad's great. I don't get the concept of Bug Snacks though. Like, it's so stupid.
What is not clear about the name Bug Snacks?
So the bugs are like food, and you eat them and then you become them. What?
Like you ate like a fry and then like the arm became like a curly fry.
Yeah, what?
It was very stupid, but you know, this is a fun zany game.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited to find out what
that's
going to be like. For sure, it did look a lot of fun.
That's one of the ones I was getting tearaway vibes from.
I gotcha. Yeah. I don't know if I'd buy it. Maybe it depends on if it's like how it is, but another one that had like a really cool vibe thing like that was Kenna, Bridge of Spirits.
Yeah.
Which is very like.
I thought the art style was amazing.
Yeah. Well, like even they're filming anime, and it shows in this game how good it is. It looks like an animated film. It reminded me a lot of like that Chinese film that came out like a year or two ago. I don't know if you remember it. It was very famous. Ji or Nia. I don't know. It was like this massive children's animated film from China that did really well. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, I don't really like the little fuzzy things. They look like the same stupid fuzzy things that they have everywhere, like on the toy stores. But apparently, you have like these.
It definitely looks like generic. I mean, they look cute. Look very
generic. But everything else didn't look generic. I mean, she looks great. The fighting, the other creatures that you're fighting against, obviously they help you. I did get like,
Pikmin vibes.
What? Yeah. So I was gonna say I got a Zelda cross of Pikmin vibes because she had like the really cool bow with the little all the kind of different spells and like her fighting techniques, and then she's using the spirits to help her hold down the enemies and do stuff. It looked really cool. I was like, that game looks fun. I can't wait to play because that's
like when that game popped out. I'm like, oh, another one of these type of games. But then I was just so taken aback. I mean, like the game looked visually amazing, and then it seemed like it had cool gameplay ideas too. So I'm excited for that one. What else is there? So there was the Far Shore as well. They didn't really. That was kind of the Far Shore. It's Super Brothers did that.
Oh,
they did Sword and Sorcery.
Sorcery, yeah. This is.
I guess the reason why I want to mention it.
It's called Jet: The Far Shore.
Okay, I forgot that first part. And it kind of looked like a kind of more indie version of No Man's Sky in a sense. Obviously not like regenerated worlds, but it is about like space exploration. But I guess the reason why I was excited about it is because, which I guess is not really a reason to be. No, it's not a reason for me because Super Brothers, a game called Sound Shapes, which is one of my favorite games.
Sound Shapes? They made Sound Shapes?
No, because Sound Shapes had like five different level groups, and so the second level group, which was my favorite, they did. It was the same art style that the Super Brothers did for Sword and Sorcery. Mm-hmm. But I guess the reason why I did love the art style in that game, which is different from Far Shore. Mm-hmm. Well, you said Jet, the Far Shore.
Yeah.
And also Jim Guthrie did the music. I mean, they did say who did the music in this, but it's not the same guy. So. Mm.
I'm not excited for this game at all. I don't think it's.
It doesn't really show like what it is really. It does seem like it's a game where like you're just exploring and then like kind of time passes. Maybe like a generational game.
Yeah. The colors look very bland, and it's just so far. I mean, from what they showed, I was just like, another game that I got excited for immediately, and then realized it wasn't what I thought it was. Because the way it starts, the game is called Godfall, and it's just like a lot of fighting, I know. But when it came out, it said vanquish your foes, and I thought, I'm like, wait, is this Vanquish? Is this based off of Vanquish? Because Vanquish is one of my favorite Capcom games, which is also
Did Platinum Games do that?
I think so, but also it was
Uh-huh.
Shinji Mikami who did Resident Evil did that game.
Yeah.
So, but that game was awesome, and I thought, wait, is this like another Vanquish, but like in a medieval
Yeah.
sort of thing? And then it's like, no, it's just called Godfall, and it's I don't know what you do. You just keep killing other people. Not even I don't even know if it's multiplayer or whatever. It's just right. It didn't show anything else other than the same guy
Yeah.
fighting.
It seemed like Darkstalkers-esque, I would say. But yeah,
Darkstalkers,
I didn't, not Darkstalkers. What was the other one?
I don't know.
Dark. Is it not Darkstalkers?
No, Darkstalkers is the 2D.
Yeah, that's
game.
the fighting game. I love that. Oh shit,
Oh,
our
lost it.
thing went down. Why is it not giving me the thing? Give me a second. All right, I'll title this later. Oh no. What is the game called? Remember, it was they did two of them, and they were
Power Stone?
similar to Zelda. What?
Oh no, I don't know then.
It was something
Similar to Zelda?
Stalkers.
Stalkers? It does taste like chocolate.
EP. What is 18? No, 19.
19.
Okay, I'll retitle it once I'm.
We're almost done anyway.
Yeah. All right. Invite when you. I mean.
My phone's about to die too, so we gotta.
Yeah, I mean we're pretty much done here. We're rambling a little here. Okay, we need to find out what that game is called.
I don't know what you're
something.
talking about.
Sorry guys, the stream cut off. But we're back up. And we're almost done anyway.
I don't like how my face looks from this angle.
What is the name of the game? You need to help me here.
Darkstalkers? What?
What is the name of it?
What do you do? What is it? Who made it? I don't know what game you're talking about. You said it's a series?
What is the name of this game? Well, think of a name of a game with the name Dark in it.
Dark in it?
Darksiders.
Oh, yes. Yep, Darksiders.
That's the vibe I got from what is it?
Totally.
What was it called?
No.
God.
It's called Godfall.
Okay.
So the game Godfall we were just talking about, which
That
I
wasn't
originally
that
thought
far
it was.
off. Darks.
No, you're right. It totally has a Darksiders vibe. It looks more like an iPhone game. Just kind of like nothing looks very unique about it. I mean, the characters did look kind of interesting, but compared to Darksiders or whatever that game is very unique. This one not so much. So I don't know. Like it's not something that I would want to run out to buy or play. Same thing with Ghostwire Tokyo. They made a big deal about that it's in Tokyo, and I guess they modeled the whole series or the game after.
I did like that.
It looked really cool.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't first person, but at the same time, I'm like, whoa, is this game going to be in VR? Because if it is, that'd be fucking great.
Yeah. And they brought out Shinji Mikami to announce this one, right? Which was cool.
Oh, was that him? I didn't remember. I didn't get to see.
Yeah,
that.
he came out. So yeah, I know you mentioned him earlier about Resident Evil. He also did like the Evil Within games.
Yeah,
as well.
We were about to get into the next one, but I did like the whole thing, the spirits and the technology stuff, and him reaching. Yeah. It's just it looks.
Definitely. I agree with you as far as like, initially when they're setting up the world, I'm like cool, but then when it became first person, it kind of took me out of it a little bit. Yeah. And it's definitely zany, like Japanese games tend to be.
Yeah,
it's very colorful.
It seemed reminded me a lot of Persona.
Yeah, but it's horror, it's kind of like horror-esque, so I'm pretty. It actually made me want another Fatal Frame game, to be honest.
That's what it reminded me too. Yeah, a lot of people were saying if it was in a frame. But that brings us to The Village. Oh my God, this game looks pretty fucking cool. I mean, it reminds me. It's a lot like the last Resident Evil 7.
For sure. Yeah.
Which I couldn't play after watching you play it. I I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I feel like there's certain games that just get me too. I don't know if give me a God code or something like that because I can't play
I
it.
mean, I got sick, so I couldn't play it at
Well, you were
all.
playing it in VR. You didn't have to play it in VR.
I
All
didn't.
through. But the game looked good.
For sure.
I don't know anything about that game, Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
It
And I love like they did it with 7 as well. I love how they reveal the name of their game, like,
yeah,
oh,
like,
it's just
it
what the
was.
fuck is this Village? And I'm like, oh, it's Resident Evil 8. Like it is
Yeah.
they make it exciting for sure.
Yeah, I'm super stoked for this. It still has like the kind of like action adventure vibes to it, but
Mhm.
I mean, it's still gonna be
It
scary.
has werewolves, which is kind of
Yeah,
weird.
I look like a werewolf. Yeah. No, the game looked good, and honestly, when that first came out, I was like, "Is this like it looks like Resident Evil, maybe Silent Hill? It's got Silent Hill vibes too."
Yeah,
And which I would have been stoked if it was a new Silent Hill as well.
sure.
But yeah, no, it's great. I think this is like exactly something like this is what a launch game would be good to have like a horror game to launch with, especially around November. I guess it's not bad right after Halloween. If they did,
Yeah.
if this game, I don't know what they said when this game is coming out.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they had a date, but
So
yeah.
um, I have one more game that I think
You want to end on probably the best looking game? You could go ahead.
I think
Take
so.
it.
Yeah,
Take it away.
Little Devil Inside.
Oh, that's what you're ending on?
Wait. That's not what I'm going to end it on. Well, I want to talk about it, but you want to talk about Deathloop, right?
Yeah. Looks fucking awesome, man.
Deathloop. We did see Deathloop at Deathloop at E3. They did show it off. We thought it was going to be for like the current gen systems. Apparently, it's not.
Oh,
Yeah,
so this game was announced previous to this?
oh yeah, Deathloop was.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
they
I hadn't
showed
heard
off.
of it.
Yeah, they had a really cool, slick opening as we saw. I mean, I think the initial, I guess, take for it seemed very spy versus spy, cat and mouse type game. You're trying to complete a mission, but somebody else is also trying to stop you from like getting to your mission. So obviously, there's going to have some cool multiplayer components to this as well. I think it's going to be more fun when you're doing it with multiplayer.
Yeah.
The style is really cool. It's Bethesda game and Arcane Studios, I believe.
Yeah, Arcane.
We're talking about.
Oh, yeah, it looks
Dishonored.
it looks like Dishonored as far as like how it plays. I actually thought it was, at first I was like, oh, Dishonored, but like no, the world is obviously completely different, not as morbid or dreary. Dreary is the word I'm looking for. A lot more colorful, kind of like do I have the right decade here? Like a 70s aesthetic to it?
It's got a very 70s vibe to it, disco style, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like We Happy Few.
Yeah, and seems like it has a cool like Groundhog Day-esque thing where like
it's time loop. It's all about time loop.
So it was a very striking style. It was nice to have black people as the leads. I think the game, like I think this slate of games, there were a few in there that had that, especially obviously starting off with the Spider-Man game, finally get a Miles Morales game, which I know a lot of people are looking for. So yeah, it was cool to see that for sure, and it just looked amazing. I thought it was the most striking game. Like
it definitely has that style, that Bethesda style.
Slate.
If you guys have played the Wolfenstein games, they have that kind of style to them. It just has like a really cool vibe, like very kind of like a Grindhouse era kind of graphics, better than what we normally would see Grindhouse, but the kind of stuff you would see. So it looked really cool. Sorry we didn't get to end on this one, but the one that I'm really excited about is called Little Devil Inside, which I'm still don't quite sure what it is, but because it shows like a little adventurer dude and then an older gentleman, and it looks like he sends them off to do all the actual fighting. And
I bet you were getting Wes Anderson vibes from this game. Were you or no?
It's very quirky, like all these the way they cut this game is just very funny. Like when he drops, like he throws a bomb down the pit, and it goes boop, but and then it cuts to the old man just sitting on the toilet taking his shit. The game looked good though. I like the style. I mean, again, I'm not saying it's like a PlayStation amazing. Only PlayStation can do this. Again, if it's on the Switch, I'll probably get it on the Switch. But being that it's the first time we've seen this game, I'm really excited for it. I really want to play this game a lot. Like that's probably the one that I'm really excited to try out, just because it looked a lot of fun. You could do a lot of stuff, and it seemed very much like an adventurer's club type thing. Just going out there. and just discovering stuff.
Yeah, it looked cool. I remember being really entertained by the trailer, and the way they edited it together was cool. And the stuff, the bombs, was awesome. Fucking blowing people up. Yeah, it's, I mean, it's. I feel like Sony's always done such a good job at like making the games the forefront of everything. Obviously, there's still a lot of questions, like we said, about price and when it's actually coming out. But yeah, they always nail that aspect of it. Like I'm actually like going into next generation. I am actually intrigued about what Xbox is doing, because like I do like how their system looks. I think
I haven't seen anything about it. Don't know anything about it.
It just looks like a tower. But like they've really been nailing like Xbox Game Pass as far as like the slate of games, and that's like affordable. And it's obviously it's better than PlayStation Now. I don't know if they changed PlayStation Now where you could download it so you could just play it offline. I don't think they've done that, but obviously Xbox Game Pass always has. So it's like there's reasons why Microsoft might be attracting me to that system, but like in the end, Sony always nails the games, and they always have the more interesting looking stuff. And then obviously if you're looking at first party, I just think their stuff's so much more intriguing.
It's always better.
I don't give a shit about Halo or Gears of War, and that seems what they always go with, And obviously, if you're a race car fan, I think Microsoft is your bag for sure, because like the Forza series, is definitely much more highly regarded now than Gran Turismo, which is crazy to say.
But, and those games are fun. Like Forza Horizon is a really fun game. Like I know I was shitting on racing games earlier, but that game is a lot of fun. So
yeah, and plus they Forza seems to do both things, right? They have the Horizon, which is more playable, and then they have the motorsport games. So
the motorsport, which is more simulation, and then the Horizon one's more arcadey. Not entirely arcade, but yeah. No,
I'm just glad here's a shit ton of games, and there was a lot of fucking shit that looked really cool. So I was pumped for it. I thought it was a great, hour and a half.
Yeah, no, I didn't know what to expect. And obviously we've been talking about this because I haven't really been in the game space for a long time. Haven't really been paying attention. Or nothing's really been catching my attention in terms of or exciting me. Like despite the fact that I'm a really big Sony fan, I'm a bigger Nintendo fan or fanatic, obviously, but I'm not blindly following any of these companies. I give Nintendo shit for a lot of stuff, but I still think Nintendo does the most interesting stuff for me in terms of a gamer. For me, definitely them. Just because of how innovative, like the Switch, the fact that it's a system that can be docked and removed, obviously the different types of games, the way they implement like multiplayer stuff, they do a lot of cool stuff with the system is why I really like the Switch.
The market agrees with you. Obviously, that thing is selling like gangbusters, but I guess from a hardware perspective, I guess nowadays it's hard to find anything. The state of the world. So
I've been wanting to. I've been dying. I should have bought this when it came out, but the Ring Fit Adventure, the one that's like their version of exercise thing. I really wanted to get this thing, and I said I don't want to buy it. I'll buy it used, and now I can't find it anywhere. Everyone wants to sell it for $200.
I heard it's really awesome. I heard.
It looks a lot of fun. It's stupid right now, especially now when you're in quarantine, when I'm stuck at home. I would have loved to have been exercising at home, and instead I can't. I'm not that I can't, but obviously I can't have fun while I'm doing it. But yeah, I mean, like obviously I've never been the type of person who's like, I'm a diehard just this fan. Like I'm never going to buy anything else. Like obviously I've been with PlayStation for the longest time. Xbox just didn't do it for me. I was with Xbox 360 for Xbox and Xbox 360. And after that, I just couldn't get in with the Xbox One. There was really nothing there. Even like 3 years into it, there was still nothing that I wanted to say. Like,
there's like a random game here and there, like Ori.
Yeah.
Like
right.
Blind Forest.
And now Ori's on the Switch. Cuphead's on the Switch. Sometimes waiting.
Yeah, that was definitely one of them.
Sunset Overdrive was a game that I was interested in the beginning, but I know it's an arcade game that you would eventually get bored of or tired of. And like you said, Halo and Gears of War, there's only so much you can do with that stuff, and like with everything else, you just want to have something new. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know if I'll continue on buying these new systems. PlayStation, I do like PlayStation, and I don't know if I'll be buying the new system when it comes out. Just because that's a lot of money to put up front. I feel like I think a lot of people won't be buying it just because, I mean, I don't know, dude. We've been out of work for a while. We lost a lot of time and income. I'm sure it's going to sell out no matter what. Obviously, it's worldwide, but I just think it's not going to be as high as they hoped it to be. Because to spend on something like that right now is just kind of a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to get one just to get it. You know, I don't know if this is going to make me like get back into gaming. You know, let me know whenever. I like watching this kind of stuff, and so I do pay attention to the medium, but like I don't know if it's enough to, but I'll have it, and then I'll also have a 4K Blu-ray player, which I'm happy to have. It's ridiculous that the PS4 Pro does not play Blu-ray DVDs or 4K.
That is weird. I didn't know that.
No, it's their fucking technology. It's their technology. You know, the Xbox One X plays them, but then it makes no sense whatsoever. But it'll be nice to have that too and take advantage of my 4K TV. So
that's another thing too. Yeah, like now that I have, I mean, I can't play any of those games in 4K. Whatever games that are in 4K, I have to say I can't play them because I don't have that system. I have a 4K TV, but I also have a 4K Apple TV. You know, so in terms of movies, I'm fine. Games, obviously, I can't do that stuff. But
you have an Apple TV? Those things are amazing, but they're $250.
What, the Apple TVs?
The 4K ones? Yeah.
The little thing.
Well, one of their high end, like the highest end one, is $250.
I don't remember paying that much, but it's the 4K one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. $250. I thought I paid it $150. Man, I don't remember what I'm buying.
Maybe you got it on discount.
I bought my parents. Yeah. I bought one from my parents as well. No, it's well worth it, obviously.
Interface.
I just bought a bunch of movies today. Yeah.
Yeah, voice control is amazing. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here, but yeah.
Overall, it was cool. I mean, obviously, Sony pushed us back because of what was happening right now with the Black Lives Movement and the social injustice that's happening. We're hoping to actually kind of make an episode based off of that stuff as well, just because it's kind of hard not to address it, especially because of whatever our own personal feelings for that stuff is. But Sony had to reveal this regardless, right? They couldn't keep pushing it back, and here it is.
Like on that note, it feels weird, like, you know, like the social media. It feels weird, like there's this post about like these fun, playful things right now. But you know, it was nice to like have something to be excited about. But yeah,
I mean, everyone's doing what they can,
I guess.
Yeah, everyone's doing what they can, and at the same time, that doesn't mean you can't be excited about other stuff. And it's not to say like Sony it's not like the government, right? Like they're trying to distract you with other shit that's happening. Sony obviously is a company that's trying to produce their games and they're putting it out. It's not a distraction. Obviously, it's not trying to block you from what's happening out in front of you. You know, games have always been a good escape from everyday life, regardless of what's happening, and that's why we play them. And I think on that note, thank you for listening. As always, don't forget to check out hiparcade.com. We have a bunch of gaming stuff that I put out there, and probably not a lot of Sony stuff, a lot of Nintendo stuff. But check out the website. I
gotta buy that Lamborghini shirt, by the way. I'm gonna buy it one day.
There's nothing on Katamari. We didn't hear anything about Katamari.
It is my birthday, June 27th.
Get the hell out of here.
Size medium. Thank you.
Heard it. He's asking for it. Get him. Help him out.
Keep that Katamari shirt. I don't want it.
As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Keep playing. Keep doing what you do. Just do more of it. We'll see you next time.